If you're over 60, one mistake at the grocery store could quietly be costing you your strength. Every year after 50, adults lose muscle, even if the scale never changes. The surprising part? Some of the cheapest foods in the supermarket outperform expensive protein powders when it comes to protecting muscle. And the number one food on today's list costs less than a cup of coffee, yet most people throw away its healthiest part. Researchers say aging muscles actually need more high-quality protein per meal, not less. That's why these foods matter. In fact, several of them have been studied specifically for their role in helping older adults maintain muscle, strength, and mobility. Stick around, because the food at number one contains something no protein powder, protein bar, or expensive shake can naturally provide. And ironically, it's the part most people throw straight in the trash. Let's start with number 10. 10. Chicken thighs. This one surprises people because chicken breast usually gets all the attention. But for many older adults, thighs may actually be the smarter choice. Many people unknowingly eat less protein than they think simply because dry, tough meat becomes difficult to chew. If you don't finish the meal, your muscles never get the protein you paid for. Thighs cost less than breast meat and contain slightly more fat, which actually helps here, improving both flavor and the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Best prep: braise or slow cook with the skin on, removing it afterward if you're watching saturated fat. Slow, moist cooking keeps the meat tender and easier to finish. Avoid high-heat frying, which toughens the muscle fibers further. 9. Sardines. Don't skip this one because of the smell. This small fish packs three things together that rarely show up in one inexpensive food: complete protein, omega-3 fats, and calcium. Sardines deliver all 9 essential amino acids, and their omega-3 content is linked in research to lower inflammation, relevant because chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the mechanisms believed to speed up age-related muscle loss. Best prep: eat straight from the can, no cooking needed, and keep the soft bones in, since that's where the calcium is. If they're packed in oil, drain and pat dry to control calories. Water or tomato-packed versions are leaner. 8. Cottage cheese. If you wake up feeling weaker than you did the night before, this next food might surprise you. About 80% of cottage cheese's protein is casein, a slow-digesting protein that trickles amino acids into your bloodstream over several hours instead of all at once. That steady supply is especially useful for aging muscle, which often needs sustained amino acid availability rather than a quick spike to respond well. Best prep: if it fits your calorie needs, full-fat versions can increase satiety and help absorb fat-soluble vitamins like D. If you're managing calories or saturated fat intake, low-fat cottage cheese still provides essentially the same high-quality casein protein. Eating a serving in the evening is a simple way to support that overnight muscle maintenance window. 7. Lentils. This may be the cheapest protein on the entire list, but one small mistake can quietly block you from absorbing one of its best nutrients. Lentils are rich in iron, which matters because mild iron deficiency is common in older adults and can cause fatigue that's easy to mistake for just getting older. But here's the catch: drinking tea or coffee with your meal can reduce iron absorption from plant foods like lentils, thanks to compounds called tannins. Best prep: soak split red lentils for 15 to 20 minutes to cut cooking time and soften them for easier digestion. Cook with turmeric, ginger, or garlic for flavor and digestive comfort. Pair the meal with a vitamin C source, lemon juice, tomatoes, or bell pepper, which meaningfully boosts iron absorption. Save the tea or coffee for an hour later. We're halfway through the list, and from this point on, the foods get even more protein-dense, and one of them has been misunderstood for decades. 6. Canned tuna. Tuna is lean, low-calorie, and one of the most easily absorbed proteins on this list. Best prep: choose water-packed over oil-packed for a better protein-to-calorie ratio, and drain it well. Skip the mayonnaise-heavy preparations if you want to maximize protein density. Try mixing with plain Greek yogurt, mustard, or olive oil, and lemon instead. The FDA recommends keeping low-mercury canned light tuna to about 12 ounces a week, rotating with other fish to manage mercury exposure. Tuna is also a solid source of leucine, the amino acid we mentioned earlier that helps switch on muscle repair. Here's one myth worth clearing up: muscle isn't built by eating a big protein-heavy dinner alone. Your body can only use so much protein at one sitting. Research suggests older adults respond better when protein is spread evenly across the day. Many experts recommend roughly 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein at each main meal, rather than saving most of it for dinner. 5. Eggs. For years, people were told to avoid eggs because of cholesterol concerns. Today, the science looks quite different. In fact, for many healthy older adults, the bigger concern isn't eating too many eggs, it's not eating enough protein overall. Eggs have one of the highest protein quality scores of any whole food, meaning your body can use almost all of it. The yolk supplies choline, vitamin D, healthy fats, and other nutrients that complement the high-quality protein found in the egg, and it's also one of the richest natural sources of leucine. Research has generally moved away from the older concern that dietary cholesterol from eggs significantly raises heart disease risk in most healthy adults, though if you have a specific heart condition, it's worth checking with your doctor. Best prep: soft cooking methods, poaching, soft boiling, or gently scrambling on low heat. Preserve more heat-sensitive nutrients than high-heat frying. Add vegetables like peppers, spinach, or tomatoes for extra vitamin C alongside the protein. 4. Greek yogurt. Not all yogurt deserves a place in your cart. Some flavored varieties contain more added sugar than a serving of ice cream. Plain Greek yogurt combines fast-digesting whey with slower casein, giving you both a quick amino acid boost and a longer, sustained release. Whey, in particular, is rich in leucine. Greek yogurt also contains live probiotic cultures that support gut health, which plays a role in how well your body absorbs nutrients overall. Best prep: choose plain, unsweetened yogurt, and add your own fruit or a drizzle of honey to control sweetness. If it fits your calorie needs, full fat can improve satiety and help absorb fat-soluble vitamins, but low-fat plain Greek yogurt still delivers essentially the same protein quality. 3. Peanut butter or other natural nut butters. This next food isn't usually considered a muscle food, which is exactly why it surprises so many nutrition experts. It's not a complete protein alone, but it's calorie-dense, shelf-stable, and far easier to eat than tougher protein sources like meat if chewing is a challenge. It also supplies magnesium, a mineral involved in muscle relaxation and function, genuinely useful for someone with a smaller appetite who struggles to eat large meals. Best prep: choose natural varieties, just peanuts, maybe salt, and avoid versions with added sugar or hydrogenated oils. Pair with whole grain toast, apple slices, or oatmeal. Combining it with a grain rounds out the amino acid profile, since nuts and grains have complementary strengths. 2. Beans, black, kidney, navy, chickpeas. Some of the longest-lived populations in the world eat beans almost every day. Beans are rich in potassium, magnesium, and iron, all relevant to muscle and metabolic function, plus fiber that supports gut health. Best prep: cooking from dried beans, soaked overnight, then simmered, sometimes with a pinch of baking soda to soften them faster. Gives you more control over sodium than canned beans, which are often high in added salt. If you use canned for convenience, rinse them thoroughly under running water to remove a meaningful amount of that sodium. Batch cook and freeze portions so this becomes an easy weekly habit. 1. Canned salmon, with bones. The number one food on this list contains something no protein powder, protein bar, or expensive shake can naturally provide. Ironically, it's also the part most people throw straight in the trash: the bones. Canned salmon gives you the same complete protein and omega-3 profile as fresh salmon at a fraction of the price. The soft, edible bones inside the can are a genuine, food-based source of calcium, supporting the bone density that underlies real functional strength, not just muscle size. Like other fatty fish on this list, salmon is also a good source of leucine. Best prep: eat straight from the can, or flake it into salads, patties, or whole grain pasta. Mash the bones right into the flesh instead of picking them out. They're soft enough to disappear into the texture, and one of the few non-dairy calcium sources on this entire list. Remember, muscle loss doesn't happen overnight, and rebuilding strength doesn't happen overnight either. What matters isn't finding one miracle food. It's eating enough high-quality protein, spread across your meals, day after day, year after year. That's how people stay strong enough to keep climbing stairs, carrying groceries, traveling, and living independently well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. If even 2 or 3 foods from today's list become regular staples in your kitchen, your future self may genuinely thank you for it.